A terrible week it's been for the Baggies. 2 away trips, 2 poor performances, and now a set of very angry away fans that seem to have turned on the manager this weekend. We've got Dean, Aaron and Ben back with us. Be to ask them how they turned against Ryan Mason just yet. Hope you're well. This is Pastures Green, 20 minutes of West Brom chat. We're going to get straight into it this week. Coming up at the end, we're also trying to appoint the October Player of the Month, and of course we've got the A to Z of West Brom to carry on with up to the letter D this week. Plus, we'd love your help with what's the worst horror show you've watched watching the Baggies. Don't say this weekend, please, but yes, think back to the worst game you've ever seen, because of course it's Halloween this week, so we're talking about nightmare performances, which links us nicely, Dean, to to Watford. Let's start there, shall we? What's gone wrong?
I don't know. He's losing the plot a little bit, I think, Ryan Mason. We go into away games now to try not to win, just to try not to lose. It's shades of Tony Pulis again, and that was horrible to watch. So it's I don't know. It's square pegs in round holes again, and it's just baffling at the moment. Really is.
The fans, from what I've read, Ben, are certainly blaming some players. I mean, Hegerberg's coming up for a lot of criticism. I'm sure you've been reading, but the manager himself, people are saying we haven't got an identity. I can't tell you what our style is of football. Can you describe it to me? What is the West Brom style of football that we're playing, especially away from home? What is it meant to be?
Well, good question. I don't think we've got one. I think it's part of the issue. We go to grounds like Ipswich and try and play for a draw, which I'm not completely against, but amongst that, you still got to try and score on the counter and be a bit brave on the ball. And on Saturday, it just looked like we were waiting for them to score. There was no kind of intent from us, no real urgency to win the game. I read something on Twitter after the game saying if you don't try and win a game, then you don't deserve to. And like Dean said, if we don't go out and try and win a game, Ipswich were below us before the game on Saturday. They just lost 3-0, I think, to Charlton at home. But the second choice keeper in goal. There was an opportunity for us to, if we were brave and went for it, of getting a decent result. And for whatever reason, Ryan Mason decided just to sit in and I don't know what the game plan is and what we're trying to achieve. We're a quarter way through the season now. We need to start seeing what type of team we're going to be, because I said it before, we've got some good players, but they're either not being utilised how they should be, or they're just having poor games. There's a lot of questions to be asked at the moment. It's quite tricky.
Yeah, so I've got some social media then. 22 Baggies 90 says Mason will get criticism as he should, but Aaron, people calling for him to be sacked need a reality check. This squad isn't that good. Metham, Moat, Price, Major are the only top 6 quality players. We struggled for goals last year, and then we saw a top creator for 8 million, and we don't replace him. What do people expect? Are you calling for his head?
Nah, I think it's too early. I mean, what are we, 11, 12 games into the season? I think at this point of the season, it's very much, I'm following from what Ben was saying. It's kind of make or break, but at the same time, you've got to give him a bit of leeway. Although I do think he needs to start putting some credit in the bank, because if things like this are going to continue to happen, it needs to be able to win games. You need to be able to set up a team that will win games, and I think the next 3 that are coming up are very winnable. I mean, don't get me wrong, Charlton are actually playing very well. They're in the top 6, which is crazy as well. But what is it? Sheffield Wednesday and Oxford, I think they're 2 very winnable games. And if we're not picking up 6 points there, then I think there will be very, very big questions asked. But at this point so far, I think we're not doing too badly. It could be a lot worse. Don't get me wrong, it could be a lot better. But I think it's a bit too early to call for his head, in my opinion.
Dean, Ben, any of you, or your friends that you go with, calling for his head?
Yeah, a couple of my mates are, and I'm not yet. I'm not one for keep sacking your manager all the time, and I really want him to do well. But there's a lot of questions to be asked at the moment, and on Saturday against Sheffield Wednesday, if we go 1 or 2 down, the Albion crowd can turn quite easily. and then there's no return. Then that once that happens, it's only a matter of time.
Yeah.
He's got to, like Aaron said, he's got to get some credit in the bank. He can't just be scrappy on the wind. We've got to start seeing like a style and a performance to really kind of push on.
But when you lose your away fans, though, Ben, there's so often not much coming back from the manager from that, is there? When you've lost your stalwart fans that go away, and there was apparently some quite vociferous things being said in that away end at Ipswich.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't there, but I've heard it was, it's really big turn quite a little bit. I mean, you can't blame them. It was sort of less than 60 hours ago. They were all down at Watford, and then you're up at what time to get to Ipswich? Smendin, I think it was nearly 40 pound a ticket, wasn't it, Dean? And then you kind of seeing that performance, you're going to be heated up, aren't
you? Let's look at this. Another tweet here. Ted says, Dino, it's just very odd. I'm not sure why our two wingers are being asked to be ridiculously narrow. This constant long ball is very strange when we're not running off the 9. And he can't win the ball anyway. Phillips is slowly becoming a liability, and when we play out in the movement is absolutely zero. Do you agree with all that?
Yeah, to a certain extent. We can't play out from the back, as we proved at the end of the match. And what possessed them to try and play out in the bloody 88th minute or whatever it was? Okay, we'd have took a draw at that point, but Ipswich were there. Ipswich weren't very good. Watford weren't very good. We should be beating teams like this, or certainly not losing to them. And we got no target up front. Well, let's try 2 up front. Try shit or bust on Saturday, I would say. Let's just try something completely different. Stick 2 of them up front. I'm not sure which 2 out of the 3 you'd play, and just go for it. Let teams worry about us. We seem to be worrying about the opposition too much, and it's coming to haunt us.
Okay. Aaron, what do you want to see on Saturday then against Wednesday? I mean, this is a Sheffield Wednesday side who, by the way, are rock bottom of the league. Have only won 1 win, 1 win all season.
Goals. I mean, that'd be very nice. I mean, for us that is as well, not for Sheffield Wednesday. Yeah, I mean, following on from what Dean said, I mean, I'd like to see him go 2 up front. I think he's got, in an attacking sense, he's got a lot to pick from now. I mean, don't get me wrong. Madge is sort of still, he's a bit touch and go. Grant the same. DK obviously only played once or twice since coming back from injury, but if they get on the pitch now, they're getting minutes, and there should be more of a chance to have a chance to score. I mean, that's what they're on the pitch for. That's what they're paid for. So that's what we want to see. I mean, 2 up front will be quite good. I think we just need to go straight back to basics and not take the mick, playing out from the back, because as you can see, it costs us, and we can see stupid goals which obviously don't need to be conceded. Especially in the 80+ minute, whatever it was. So, just back to basics, and we need to just stop with this daft long ball as well, because a lot of the time, I think against Ipswich on Saturday, we were having 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 passes to the side, back to the keeper, and then it'd be a long hoof ball from usually Phillips, to be fair, but. Don't get me wrong, he's not a ball-playing centre-half, but the ball was just coming straight back on us. Ipswich midfielder or defender would comfortably collect the ball, and then we'd be straight against it again, which obviously just would make, we're right in our own game and not giving ourselves any favours. It's very poor, so it needs to change.
Ben, there's one tweet at the weekend that said, "This is worse than Mowbray last season." Is it?
It's not quite as bad as that, I think. Like we said, we're still figuring ourselves out. You can kind of look at it from that point of view. But in terms of the results we're getting, especially the away performances, they're really toothless, and you question, is it a mentality thing? We've said it for years. I think at West Brom, our away performances over the past 2, 3, 4 years just haven't been good, and like I said, you do question the mentality, and it's kind of a similar pattern season on season in terms of our away form. They had a good home record under Corver, which kind of was our saving grace a little bit, but our home form this season hasn't been great, and our away form is continuing to struggle, so it's not much difference, to be honest.
Dean, when you look at the quality of the league in total, though? Is it frustrating for Baggies fans more so that, look at the three that have come down, they're not playing well at all. There's only really Coventry in this league that are being consistent. Even Middlesbrough don't look good in patches. Do you look at that and think, such a wasted opportunity for Baggies here?
Definitely.
This is the easiest chance to get out of this league that any team will get.
I thought it was going to be a really real tough season, and with the teams coming down and the teams coming up. In fairness, but they're not, are they? It's there on paper, and we have got the players, I think, to be better than the majority of the teams in the division. So it is really, really frustrating at the moment.
Yeah. Right. Fingers crossed it all turns around then on Saturday. We'll be here to review that next week, of course. October Player of the Month, though, as we'll be heading into November. And then, if you can, Aaron, is there one player that stood out as being slightly better than the rest?
In all fairness, to be fair, I mean, the bloke we've spoken about the most in the last couple of weeks has been Mowat, and I think he's probably been our best player during October. I think he's, like we've said previously, he does the basics right. He makes us a better team. I'd like to see, honestly, to be fair, I'd like to see more from him, but I'd like to see a lot more from the whole squad. But he's stuck out. I mean, he's the only one who seems to care, and it looks like he's the only one who's playing to try and win sometimes. I mean, a lot of the team aren't really doing that. So yeah, I'll probably go in with it.
Okay. Dino?
Probably Mikey Johnson. He's the only one, apart from Price, capable of producing a moment of magic, I guess, and get you off your seat. But it's difficult. Nobody has really performed recently, I don't think.
Okay, yeah. I appreciate the difficulty of the question. Ben?
Yeah, I've Johnson in my head. I think he's the only one who's kind of forcing things at the minute. He's trying to kind of work a bit of magic, and that's kind of what we asked from him. Keeper's been okay, but obviously his mistake on Saturday, but I think Johnson's probably been the pick of the bunch.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Brill. We'll go on to horror stories in a minute. Before we do so, can you help us get to our next massive milestone, which would be huge, please, of 300 subscribers? That'd be huge. Thank you for all the support and all the comments we receive weekly on this channel. It makes us really, really a privilege to be able to sit and chat about the good and the bad of this wonderful football team. That these three pay good money each week to go and travel the country and watch. Halloween on Friday, so we are asking then, what's the worst horror show you've sat through and watched Albion? We're looking for that one game, and again, help us in the comments. The one game that you just couldn't wait for it to end, you couldn't wait to get home, and it still gives you nightmares now, reflecting back on just how bad Albion were. Ben?
There's a game last season, towards the end of the season at Coventry, where we kind of billed it as kind of, if we win this, we'll be kind of surging towards the playoffs. And we just didn't turn up at all. We got completely outplayed, outbattled, outfought, And it was kind of just summed up our season. It was just an awful performance, and you never really recovered from it. And some say we still haven't. So,
okay. Dino?
Yeah, I'll go back a bit in time, and it's our friends Ipswich again from Saturday. Twice in a couple of years, I saw us get tanked 7-0 at Portman Road, and then when we lost the '78 FA Cup semi-final, and we beat so many good teams on the way. Forest, Derby, Man United. The easiest of all was Ipswich, and we just didn't turn up, and they beat us 3-1. Still hurts.
And Aaron?
The one that sticks out in my mind is Leeds away a couple of years ago. I think he was under Darren Moore Friday night, and we were 1-0 down within about a minute. I think it was Pablo Hernandez just scored a screamer out of nowhere, and I was thinking, well, that's great. It was just, you could tell what was going to happen from there, and it was just, we never turned up, and it was just a horrible, horrible performance.
Playoff final in 2007 as well. Playoff final against Derby, where we kind of banged on favourites. All game, and they had one shot and scored.
Yeah. Some good shouts there. What have they forgotten, though, in the comments, please? Right, finally this week, then, we're up to the letter D in our West Brom A to Z. You found this really easy so far, all of you. Let's see if D creates any stumbling blocks for you. Ben, kick this off.
I'm struggling for players, to be honest, beginning with D. One that kind of sprung out the most is Graham Dorrans. Had a really good season in Championship in 2009, maybe, where he got about 17 goals. A lot of former players talk quite highly of him as being a really kind of quality player, and it was a good servant for us in the kind of 3 or 4 years he was with us, especially in that Championship season under Demeter, was it maybe? Yeah. He's the one that kind of sets up the most.
Good shout. Aaron?
Yeah, I mean, he was the only one I could think of in my mind, Dorrans. So I have to agree with Ben. I think, moving on from what Ben said as well, he was absolutely amazing in that one season. I think it was about roughly 30 goal contributions throughout the whole season. It was a crazy season, especially from a midfielder. It was Frank Lampard-esque. So yeah, Graham Dorrans did for D, definitely.
All right. Dino?
I have got Dorrans written down. Kevin Donovan, another one. He was very important when we won the playoffs in '93 under Aussie R dealers. You mentioned another one, Di Matteo, the manager. It's too easy.
Yeah.
And if you're going off centre a little bit, Desi pubs, which West Brom's known for. Pubs with the Indian barbecues, and they've just about all got them.
Okay.
So they do.
All right. Okay. I think Dorrans will have to go in then for that one. Brilliant. Okay. Another straightforward one. But next week's not going to be so easy because we get to letter E. So join us. Join us as they scrabble around and scratch their heads for anything beginning with E that goes in the West Brom A to Z. Thank you very much, you three. Enjoy the Sheffield Wednesday game. We'll be reviewing that with you next week. And thank you, of course, for watching. We really enjoy making the show for you, and it's a pleasure to have you along with your company weekly. We'll see you in 7 days' time. Have a great week, everyone.